Hi everyone, I'm Liz Kinantis with CBS 12 and I want to welcome you to our health and wellness experience. I hope everyone has been enjoying their day, getting a lot of good information, and who isn't interested in good health, right? Yeah. Longevity, the fountain of youth, that's so important to so many people, staying healthy and living well, living well and living long. So it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Fuhrman, who is going to be speaking about all those things, plus the Health Oasis that they have. So, are you able to hear? Yeah. Okay, so that's advice for Dr. Fuhrman to speak close to the mic. You still, how about now? Can you hear now? Yes. All right, this is good. All right, I've been doing a mic test for the doctor, so he's going to be ready to go in just a moment. All right, again, I just want to thank everyone. I'm Liz Kinantis with CBS 12. Thank you for coming to our health and wellness experience here in Boca Raton at Meisner Park. And without further ado, please welcome Dr. Fuhrman.
Boy, I wish I knew how to sing. Okay. Well, nice to see you all here today. I flew in this morning from New Jersey. So, here for a few hours.
How's the weather?
The weather in Jersey is pretty nice. About 45, 50. Anyway, so I'll tell you what I'm doing here today. I just want to make sure that everybody here, meaning here in this room and also in Boca, because you're guys going to spread the message, right? You're going to tell everybody in Florida that nobody has to have a heart attack or a stroke. It's a secret. But nobody has to have a heart attack or a stroke. Who wants to be in a nursing home? You know what the fastest growing business in America is today? Nursing homes, especially for people between ages of 35 and 65. For the younger people that are now having strokes like crazy, being stuck in nursing homes the rest of their life. It's insane. Our society's insane. We're committing suicide with food, yet nutritional advances, these recent advances in nutritional science, has told us we don't ever have to have heart attacks and strokes. And we can wipe out cancer, and we can do it right now. So raise your hand.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you raising your hand for? I didn't tell you what to raise your hand for. No, I didn't finish the sentence. Raise your hand if you're sure that you're going to do what it takes to not have a heart attack or a stroke happen to you. Yeah. Now raise your hand. What a bunch of liars. Can I take it? Do you know what it takes not to have a heart attack or a stroke? Well, that's what I'm here to tell you today. Okay, but here's the point, is that drugs do not protect you. A matter of fact, some of the medications people take to lower their blood pressure, like calcium channel blockers, have been shown in studies to double the risk of breast cancer after 10 years of use. Is that what you want? To switch one? And do they protect you against heart attacks? Of course not. It's a scam. What about cholesterol and drugs? They make you gain weight. Double your risk of diabetes, increase your risk of invasive breast cancer. Combine that with a calcium channel blocker. Our whole society is accepting this myth that drugs are our answer to the dietary problems we have in America today. You know, you go to a doctor, it's like taking your hand on the table, put it right here. Anybody have a hammer? I want to smash my hand as hard as I can with a hammer. And then it's okay. Because I'm just going to take a drug, make it feel better, put me on narcotics. But the next day, I'm going to smash it again. This is what the American diet is doing. We're killing ourselves with the foods we're eating. And I can see almost all Americans are dramatically overweight. And fat on the body increases the risk of cancer. And the fat on the body increases the risk of heart attack and strokes, makes you insulin resistant. We're eating ourselves to death. And when you lose weight, when you eat a diet, drop some weight, go off the diet, put some weight back on again, it makes it even more dangerous. Because the fat that comes back on the body after weight loss is more dangerous than the fat you took off from the diet. Did you follow that? Rapid regain of fat is more saturated and more dangerous. That's why most heart attacks occur when people go on holidays, vacations, around holiday time, around Christmas time. When people binge on their diet, they binge and they have like a couple of days of unhealthy eating, boom, they're dead the next day. Or they had a stroke and they're in the hospital the rest of their life. Go on vacation, it's just a vacation, you eat kind of junk for the week, and you come home, you'll have your heart attack or your stroke. Rapid weight gain is exceedingly dangerous. If I'm against dieting, what am I for? Well, here, what I'm telling you is this, is you have a choice to make right now. You can do whatever you want, but I'm giving you a very clear choice because I coined the word Nutritarian diet is the dietary style, a diet style designed to wipe out heart attacks, wipe out strokes, and wipe out cancer. And if you're on blood pressure medication, or cholesterol-lowering drugs, or medications for type 2 diabetes, it'll make you non-diabetic within 6 weeks in 90% of cases. You're only diabetic medications. It'll bring your cholesterol down to normal. It'll bring your blood pressure back to normal. You won't need medications anymore. Remember I asked you 10 minutes ago, if you didn't want a heart attack or a stroke, and you said you're willing to do what it takes? Well, here's what you have to do. You have to eat a Nutritarian diet, which is a high nutrient diet style that predominantly consists of fruits and vegetables and beans and nuts and seeds with very little animal products. The amount of animal products people eat in a week in America, they eat one day, people eat 10 or 15 ounces a day, and I don't want people to go over 10 ounces a week. That's cutting your animal products back dramatically. Or you can go onto a vegan diet, but in other words, very little animal products and no high glycemic carbohydrates, no white flour, no sugar, no honey, no maple syrup, no cocaine. What's so funny? I always say the whiter the bread, the sooner you're dead. Because white bread is the same as eating a sugar cube. You might as well just be putting the sugar cube right in your mouth. It doesn't just cause diabetes and heart disease, it also causes cancer. Sugar and white flour and commercial baked goods cause depression, they destroy brain cells, you lose concentration, they make you dumber, and they lead to dementia. If you're going to have bagels and croissants and breakfast cereals, and go to Italian rolls and these things, is it better to have the white bread in McDonald's, or is it better to have the white bread in an Italian restaurant or from a supermarket? Which would be better? Neither is the correct answer. You got a watch for that. A new watch. One that tells time. But here's the thing. It's that, of course, it's neither. That's the right answer. But actually, McDonald's, they outlawed using potassium bromate as a leavening agent, whitener in breads in Europe. So McDonald's took the potassium bromate out of their bread, but the potassium bromate is still added in normal white flour that commercial baked goods use in Italian restaurants and supermarkets. That's even more dangerous. Excuse me? Oh, go ahead, sorry. Does anybody know? So we're talking here about what you have to do never to have a heart attack or a stroke. You have to achieve a normal body weight. You have to eat a diet that's healthy enough, like the diet I'm describing, a Nutritarian diet, right? Which is largely consists of high nutrient plant foods, is why it's called Nutritarian. And you don't have to ever diet. You eat as much food as you want, and your weight gravitates to a normal weight. You can't become overweight unless you eat unhealthy food. It's the unhealthy food that promotes fat storage hormones. When you eat G-bombs, when you eat greens and beans and onions and mushrooms and berries and seeds, these foods have anti-angiogenic effects. That means they resist fat storage on the body. They say, no way, Jose, I'm not letting you put fat on your body. I'm not letting you put atherosclerosis on your body. They accelerate the removal of fat, the reduction of atherosclerosis, and the protection of heart disease. And they say it in Spanish, no way, Jose, they say. The greens, the beans, the onions, the mushrooms, the berries, and the seeds. These foods have angiogenesis inhibitors. How many people in this audience know that women who eat one mushroom a day have in a medical study shown to have 64% lower risk of breast cancer? How many people know that? Not many. How many of you know that women who eat flax seeds every day have a 71% decreased risk of dying of breast cancer? How many people know that? Just a few of you. What? How many of you know people who eat raw onion every day have a 60 to 88% reduction in major cancers? Raise your hand. A few of you know that. The same few people raising their hands. How many of you know that people who eat cruciferous green vegetables raw each day have over a 75% lower risk of prostate and breast cancer? Raise your hand. Some people knew that. But what if you designed a diet style with a portfolio to include all these foods that work synergistically to prevent cancer? And you put them in a diet style that made them taste great. And the same foods that prevent cancer don't allow fat storage on the body and literally take fat off your body and then make you lose weight and get rid of your diabetes. In other words, Here's what you have to tell you one more time what you have to do. You have to maintain a normal body weight. Your diet has to be flooded with these phytochemicals and antioxidants from these superfoods and from high nutrient plant foods. You have to achieve a normal blood pressure without medication. If you're requiring medication to achieve that, you're not protected. It's a false sense of security. You have to have a normal cholesterol without medication. If you're requiring medication to lower your cholesterol, you're not protected. The way you know a person is at high risk of a heart attack is because they're on medication for lowering their blood pressure and their cholesterol. If they had a low risk of heart attack, they wouldn't be on medication. And if you want to take away the risk of heart attack, you have them eat healthy enough so they don't need medication anymore. Then they're protected. Did you follow that? Yeah. So I'll repeat that again. Normal body weight, normal exercise tolerance, high nutrients in your tissues, a high nutrient diet, and you have to have a normal blood pressure, normal cholesterol, normal blood sugar without medication. Matter of fact, if you have a high blood sugar, or even a borderline high blood sugar, and the doctor puts you on a statin drug, that doubles your risk of developing diabetes. And it accelerates, it makes you fatigued, makes you unable to exercise, and makes you gain weight. And you know, that drug, that statin drug, damages muscle tissue. Not only damages muscle tissue in people who get muscle pain and fatigue, not only damaging muscle tissue in people who have blood tests that elevate muscle breakdown enzymes, but it also damages muscle tissue in people who don't feel anything and don't have any blood test abnormalities. It's below the level of perception, but doesn't mean the damage is not occurring. And after years and years of use, you've damaged your blood tissue and you've damaged your heart muscle. So now the heart is more easily damaged by a heart attack. So if you have a heart attack, it's more likely to kill you or cause heart failure because your heart's been weakened from the years of the statin drugs. You don't get something for nothing. These drugs are poisonous. It's the first thing you learn in medical school. In the first pharmacology course in medical school, they say never forget that all drugs are toxic. They work by blocking, interfering, or poisoning some natural body process. The side effects that we like, we know the pharmacologic effects. The ones we don't like, we call side effects, but they're all the effects of the medications. And the whole key is to live in a manner to avoid the need for medicinal substances. Right? I can give you a natural substance, an herbal product, or something from the health food store that'll make you sleep better, or wake you up and give you more energy, or make you urinate more, or make you urinate less, or take away your headache. But the efficacy is related to its toxicity. The more effectiveness it has to do something, the more poisonous it is. Only things that are poisonous have pharmacological effects on the body, whether natural or not. We want to live in a manner to avoid treatments, cures, and therapies, because we don't need them. Are you following this? It doesn't matter if it's natural or not. If you're requiring a bunch of therapies, you're not healthy. You want to be free of the addiction to health professionals. Did you follow that? Speaking of health professionals, I want you to meet Dr. Laurie Marbas here, who's a medical doctor, who's the medical director of Dr. Fuhrman's Health Oasis here in Boca. Now, even though I'm telling you to avoid health professionals, look, I don't even like myself. But here's the point. A lot of people are in dire need. You know that, right? We have a health crisis in America. We have the most overweight and sickly population in the history of the human race. So what we did, and there's Jack, and Laurie, and Donna, what we did is we have a team here in Boca of health professionals that are designed that when people are in need, when they're on medications, when they're overweight, when they're diabetic, when they're food addicts, we have a safe place they can go and get help. And the treatment is good food, and the people's pounds melt away. So we take in people from all over the world. They can stay for a month, they can stay for 3 months, right here in Boca. And we have an incredibly talented team of individuals and professionals that can not just have people reverse their diseases, but treat them psychologically to get rid of their food addictions and emotional overeating. And when they're discharged from our program, maybe 50 pounds lighter, without heart disease and diabetes, now we stay in contact with them to make sure they stay on track. They come into our facility right here in Boca, and that's why I'm here. That's what I'm doing here. They come into our facility here in Boca. We feed them delicious food. We teach them how to make the delicious food for themselves when they go home. Of course, we take away their credit cards, their money, their car keys. We make sure they can't leave the facility, and they're on the program, because food addiction is serious. It kills people, and it kills more people than illegal drugs and legal drugs. The number one most deadly addiction in the United States today is food. People can't stop poisoning themselves with their food. Incredibly excited that we set up this safe haven that people know if they have a serious medical problem, they don't have to be stuck in a hospital and have tubes put in the orifices of their body and have poisonous medications be given and their chest cut open, right? And their procedures like angioplasty and bypass surgery that don't make you live longer. Do you want to get well, or you want to just cover it up? So we have a safe place people can go to get well. Now hopefully most of you don't have to go to any place to get well. You just learn about it and do it. So most of you raised your hand 15 minutes ago when I said how many of you don't want to have a heart attack or a stroke, and how many of you women don't want to get breast cancer. Are you willing to do what it takes? Well, the first thing you have to do is learn more, because you have to know what it takes if you really want to do this. And I'm calling this a no-brainer. You have to be insane not to do this. It tastes great. You enjoy your life. You're fully living every day you're alive. And why make every day play Russian roulette with whether you have a heart attack or a stroke or get cancer? Why take your chances every day when you know you can protect yourself and live without fear? It makes life more fun, more sane. And the only reason people aren't doing it is because they're not educated about it. If they were educated about it, if they had the right information, if they knew, if they learned the recipes, if they ate this way for some months and they knew their taste buds would get stronger and change, and they would like this diet style better than their old diet or just as much, then why would they not say no to heart attacks and strokes and cancers? Why? Why would you do what other Americans do? It's utterly insane. Now I know there's part of the mind, of the human mind, that doesn't like what you're hearing right now. Because food addictions are very powerful and they take over your decision making. So you make your decisions based on emotions and feelings and not science and logic. And some of you are thinking to yourselves right now as you're listening, and you're saying, this sounds good, however it's not for me, because I would rather die younger and eat whatever I want and enjoy my life more. Or some other irrational, delusional excuse. Because you've lost your ability to think logically because food addiction is so attractive. But that goes away with time. Your body comes up, your mind comes up with irrational, delusional thoughts to maintain your snorting and your smoking and your eating behaviors. The smoker will say, well, I'll quit when I get pregnant, or I'll quit, or too much stress right now. You know, my son smashed up the car, my husband lost his job. The addict always comes up with an excuse why it's never the right time. But when is the right time? When is the right time? Yeah. Right. It was the right time was back there before. It's not in the future. If you're not taking care of your health properly, now's the right time. You know, it's funny because last week I'm sitting in the office, a patient comes in, he sits across and he starts telling me about all his medical problems he had, and he's changing his diet. He wants to come here and get a diet. And I noticed on the paperwork he wrote in front of me that he smokes cigarettes. So I said, that must have been in the past. He must not be smoking now. So I said, what, do you smoke cigarettes? He goes, yeah. I said, you're prepared to quit? He wasn't even prepared to quit. He actually wasted his time and money coming to see me. He wasn't prepared to quit smoking. But I said, look, so I took his cigarettes, I took his lighter away from him, and I made sure that he knew he's got to quit right now, today, not yesterday. He was thinking of quitting. He said, I'm thinking of quitting in the future. I said, the future? What do you mean the future? What if there is no future? What if the next tomorrow? So many times in my life I've had people in the ICU telling me I should have listened to you, but now I'm going to do it. And after they have the heart attack or the stroke in the nursing home. A person in a nursing home, can you imagine? Unable to speak. And I just was in the office to see me like a month before and didn't listen. This is your one in a lifetime opportunity to learn more about this program that saves lives. And your opportunity is not just for you. It's you have to learn more about this so you can help other people you love not die needlessly and have these needless tragedies happen to them either. we all have to become educated, to become a ray of light, where we can put on the oxygen mask on ourselves first. And we can be an example of great health. And then what you have to say is meaningful and effective to encourage and motivate other people to take better care of their health. You don't have credibility unless you're healthy yourself. Now I want Dr. Marbas, who we've imported here from Colorado, to tell a little bit more about the Health Oasis and how she likes and what she's seeing at the Health Oasis and what's happening here, because this Health Oasis in Boca is new. We've only been doing this for about 3 or 4 months here. So we're really excited about this, that Boca is now a worldwide center of healing where sickly and overweight people from all over the world are coming here to get well. And we all should know about this, right? Can you say a few words?
Hi everyone, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. So basically what we do here in Boca is we actually take people from around the world. We have people from England and different places and across the United States. And I speak to some people across the United States and the world every day about what the powerful thing that we're seeing here. And the only reason I would leave my family, my youngest is graduating high school this year, to do something was to work with Dr. Fuhrman and some incredible teams that we have here to see the amazing challenges that people walk in with, and we conquer them while they're here with us. So anywhere from having people lose 50 pounds in 6 weeks, cholesterol dropping 60 points in 3 weeks. We have people who come in depressed, anxious on medications for 30 years, leaving without medications and sleeping through the night the first time they had in their entire lives. There's another thing, people, constipation. I mean, people have lifelong issues. They're walking away, actually having regular bowel movements. They can't understand why. I'm like, well, has a lot to do with what we're eating. So for me, it's a powerful experience is to actually stop medications. So I've put away my prescription pad and now I'm actually stopping medications. That's a really fun thing to do because that's really what healing is all about. And that's what physicians actually enter medical school wanting to do. My daughter's starting medical school this year. So what a wonderful experience for her to understand the power of nutrition, that she can actually affect patients from the beginning. So that's what we hear. But I just do the fun part. I get to stop medications and teach them how to cook and go shopping. But then we have some amazing therapists who actually work with our patients and fix what's going on between the ears. Because that really is what keeps people from sustaining the diet. Sustaining a lifestyle of health, because there's so many factors going on between the ears that we don't understand, but those guys dig deep and they help people heal emotionally and spiritually, and it's a wonderful thing to see, and I'm just blessed to be a part of it. So please, if you have any questions, we're available right over here at the booth. I'll be happy to answer any questions, and our phone call, we also online, drfuhrman'shealthoasis.com, and please, we're here to help. Thanks.
Thank you. Isn't that thrilling? In my 25 years as a physician, more than 25 years, in the back of my mind, I always wanted to do something like this. And the team here made this possible. And it's, so it's really exciting because for years people say, well, where do really sick people go instead of a hospital? Where can we go where they get nutritional care to get well and not just drugs, right? So now we have a place. It's unbelievable. But in any case, why don't I take a few questions from the audience? Yes.
We hear much nowadays about women and breast cancer, but very little about what almost all men, especially as we get older, regarding enlarged prostates and the prospect of facing whether or not you have prostate cancer. And I wonder what is the nutritional aspect to address that in particular?
Basically, the question is about breast cancer. We talk a lot about breast cancer, but not as much about prostate cancer. And the reason is, even though breast and prostate cancer result from the same causes, in other words, the same diet that causes breast cancer in women causes prostate cancer in men. So talking about how to prevent breast cancer is good enough because it's going to prevent prostate cancer. But the reason we focus on breast cancer more is because prostate cancer usually is a more slowly advancing disease, and most men with prostate cancer die of heart attacks, not prostate cancer. And most women with breast cancer die of breast cancer. Did you follow that? Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that anybody has to get prostate cancer. And if your prostate is enlarged, or your PSA is elevated, and there's some suspicion that you have prostate cancer, I don't care to know whether you have prostate cancer or not. I don't care if you get a biopsy. I don't care if you find out if it's cancerous or not. It doesn't matter, because when you go on a Nutritarian diet, the PSA goes down, and the prostate cancer reverses itself. Goes back the other way if you eat this way.
How long does it take?
How long does it take? Okay. So, if your PSA is elevated, you could follow your PSA every 4 months. You take another PSA, and whether it goes up or down every 4 months determines your PSA velocity. The velocity means how fast it's rising. If it's continuing to rise, then it's more of a concern. That's an advanced cancer. But my experience over my 25 years of practice is when people adopt this way of diet, the PSA goes the other way, comes back to normal. It actually drops a lot within the first 4 months. How long does it take? You start healing usually in probably the first 2 or 3 months. How long does it take with a person with heart disease? Let's say I have a person who's been feeling chest pain lately. I'm giving a lecture to 700 people in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and right in the front row is this guy named Kurt. His wife lost 120 pounds last year on the program, and he was doing what he called was Fuhrman light. While his chest pains were getting worse and worse, and he continued to put on weight. Must have been pretty light. Out with his buddies, eating brisket and roast beef every day. And it gets to the point where even walking causes chest pain. And then he tells me, right here at the lecture, his wife tells me that he's having chest pain today. Even sitting there at rest, he's feeling chest pain. You know what that means to have chest pain at rest? Anybody know what that means besides physicians in the audience? It's called an acute coronary syndrome. It means it's a medical emergency. If you're having chest pain when you're at rest, and it used to be with exertion, now he's a candidate to go to the hospital. Right? He refused. He said, I'd rather die than go to the hospital, but now I'm finally going to listen to you. Here's one of the Health Oasis patients. Okay, I'll get to you in 1 second. 1 second. So this guy, not really this guy, but this guy in the front row who had chest pain, within the first 2 weeks, he wasn't feeling chest pain with walking. He had to jog to get pain. Within the first months, he had to almost run fast to get pain. Within 8 weeks, he could not elicit pain no matter what he did. Run as fast as he can, go uphill. Just 2 months. After a lifetime of eating junk, of eating poorly, just 2 months to reverse his problem. It takes about 2 or 3 months to get the penetration of nutrients in your tissues. And it takes 2 or 3 months to drop 20 or 30 pounds too, to lose fat on your body. It doesn't always happen. It doesn't happen the same way for every person. But the point is, the effects are remarkably quick and effective. I'd say within 3 months, people are out of risk of having a heart attack. Completely out of risk. From high risk of could have been dead any minute to having no risk. It's incredible. Drugs can't do what this can do. Yes, this lovely lady's here. Where are you from, by the way? From Brooklyn. Wow. And how long have you been at the Health? You've been at the Health Oasis for how long now?
I'm out now.
You were 3 weeks in.
1 week.
What do you say?
I'm off of all medications, antidepressant for 30 years. I was taking them completely off. And my cholesterol is down. I'm not taking Prilosec. And I'm not taking pills to sleep. I'm sleeping wonderful. And I'm eating navel oranges and grapefruit.
Eating things you couldn't eat before. Fantastic.
Feeling great. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, you had a question.
What about seafood?
What about what?
Seafood.
Seafood. Yeah, when you see food, you want to eat it. Wear blinders. That's why I have those glasses on. You don't want to see food. Okay. What about what? Okay, I got the question. I'll take one more question. Yes.
Is it realistic to be able to accomplish this diet without giving up 30 days of your life for facility? We can do this, can you educate yourself as part of the program?
Of course. Okay. Thank you. Excellent question. All right, we got 3 questions. Seafood, and the fact is you know, most people aren't going to go in and admit themselves in a facility to do this program. That program at the Health Oasis is for people who have significant medical difficulties, food addictions, trouble following a diet. They know they need extra help, and and people that are at a high risk that want to make sure that people who maybe are on medications for diabetes and need to get, you know, there's a person in California who they told him had his leg amputated with infections from diabetes, and he said to his doctor, "Isn't there anything I could do to save my leg?" And the doctor said, "You can go downstairs. The doctor, Dr. Steve below us, who uses Dr. Fuhrman's approach, maybe it'll save your leg." Got rid of his diabetes, saved his leg. They didn't even mention it to him until the guy said they're going to cut his leg off first. Finally, they mentioned it to him. He said, "Is there anything else I can do without getting my leg cut off?" So yes, look, I've written 10 books. I have 6 New York Times best-selling books, including my most recent book called The End of Heart Disease. Most people just should read the book, The End of Heart Disease. My other book, The End of Dieting, is for people who have emotional and psychological and addictive problems with food. You should learn the information first. My website, drfuhrman.com, gives people education, motivation, recipes, a camaraderie group of people helping you, and more, and newsletters and teleconferences and all kinds of things to help you do it on your own. The Health Oasis is certainly for people who need extra care, and very, very important, because a lot of people need that degree of care. But certainly, I'm not expecting you guys to be admitted to a facility. You should read the information and become educated and do this on your own. Go to drfuhrman.com, DVR my show, Eat to Live on PBS, watch my television show, get a book, learn more information, and take care of yourself. So I mentioned earlier about animal products. I didn't give you a lot of details, but animal products and animal protein per se pushes up an enzyme, IGF-1, that increases your risk of breast cancer and prostate cancer. That's why we have to keep animal products below 10% of calories, because as you go above 10%, we see IGF-1 start to rise precipitously, increasing the risk of cancer. So that answers your question about seafood. So as far as seafood, I said all animal products should be less than 10% of total calories, that we shouldn't be eating more than 8 to 10 ounces a week. And if seafood is your animal product of choice, you still should hold it to that very small amount. So the question here was about thyroid disease. Thyroid disease is usually caused by exposure to toxic chemicals and other petrochemicals and things that, and once the thyroid is destroyed, it rarely grows back. And we catch it right at the beginning when you're very young. It does sometimes come back. But for most people on thyroid medication, they still have to use a low dose of thyroid medication for the rest of their life. But it's just replacing the hormone that your thyroid thyroid's producing. So that's not a medication we can typically stop, even though we can stop the others you're on. But that should not interfere with getting the benefits of this program, and that should not interfere with your health, because as you lose weight, you can lose less thyroid hormone because you have less body weight to treat, and that won't be diffused in such a big vat. But in any case, not an issue. And I think, okay, so I'll do just 2 more questions then. Yes, you and two. Go ahead.
So, let's say we read all the books, do all the good stuff, you gotta go to work, you gotta go out to eat, and you stay on this diet if you're out in the world and nobody else knows.
Thanks for that question. Great question. What's your question?
I am for the most part, you try to get off your drugs, but the doctor's using don't get out your drugs. You shouldn't do that. Now, knowing the body produces.
I got it. I got it.
So will it produce enough cholesterol in your body as well if you're off these statins?
Okay, we have 2 questions here. Let me just deal with this one first. He's saying that he has diabetes. He's on cholesterol and drugs, which worse than diabetes and increasing death from diabetes, by the way. You know, so he's got, and his doctors, he's on diabetic medication too, right? Yes. Oh, you're not on diabetic medication. In other words, he needs help. Now, don't forget, I'm not suggesting that people stop their drugs suddenly. It has to be a process where you're gradually tapering them back. But if you start this program and you don't start tapering them back right away, your blood pressure could drop too low, your blood glucose could drop too low, you could become over-medicated and damaged from the medication. If your blood pressure drops too low, you could fall on the street and faint and smack your head or something. In other words, your medication has to be just slowly cut back as you and looked at very carefully as you're beating this program. So I don't know about your particular condition, your individual, where your blood pressure is running, where your blood glucose is running, but I know this, that as soon as you start on this program, within 2 or 3 days, your blood sugar is going to be a lot lower and your blood pressure is going to drop precipitously. And even with 2 or 3 days, you could become dangerously over-medicated. So it's not an option whether your doctor cuts back your drugs or not. If your doctor is not willing to cut back your drugs, you have to find a new doctor, because he can be putting you at risk, of serious risk of getting hurt if your drugs are not cut back, because this program is so incredibly effective at dropping your blood pressure and dropping your blood glucose and dropping your cholesterol. You don't want to do this program and because the side effects of the drugs are worse if it pushes your blood pressure too low. So you have to do this safely, and if you don't do this, then you're really nuts. Because then you're just playing Russian roulette with your life. There's no option, there's no choice. Only uneducated, misinformed people would take drugs and not change their diet. Get the weight off, get rid of your medical problems, and enjoy your life. This is all about living and enjoying every day you're alive here. You don't have to be, not only you can't enjoy your money in your life if you're in a coffin, and the food doesn't taste good once you're in the coffin, but it's not only that. It's not just living longer, it's fully living with your mental faculties, with your taste intact, with your vision intact, with your full mind intact, your body working, fully able to enjoy your life, because your body, the body you've given, ages slower and maintains its vitality when you eat healthfully, so you can fully enjoy your life. And for your question, very important question. Matter of fact, I'm coming out with a book May 2nd called The Eat to Live Quick and Easy Cookbook. And if you go to drfuhrman.com/quick-and-easy, drfuhrman.com/quick-and-easy, you can pre-order the book and get 30 free recipes right away. And I have the 10 and 20 program that's available right now. And these programs enable people to start in immediately. Before you watch DVDs, before you read any books, exactly what to buy at the supermarket, exactly what to eat for breakfast, what to eat for lunch, what to eat for dinner, how to make it fast. We cook on the weekends, make a big pot of soup, we put it into different containers. We show people how to save money so it's not out of the price range. They make a salad dressing on the weekend and one on Wednesday nights. You cook usually 2 times during the week, you prepare your food. It's not more expensive, it's not more work, and there's no legitimate excuse not to do this. And even, there's no excuse as far as taste either. And you still eat delicious tasting desserts. They're just not made with sugar. They're sweetened with fresh fruit or a little bit of dried fruit. And they taste unbelievable. Last night, I had delicious apple pie a la mode. Tastes fantastic. You know how we made the apple pie? It had no crust. It was just apples with some flax seeds and walnuts and cinnamon and a few currants chopped up, and it was really good. And then we put a little dollop of vanilla ice cream on top. You know what the vanilla ice cream was? Frozen banana with real ground vanilla bean mixed in with a few macadamia nuts. And I didn't put any sweetener in it. No dates, no raisins, just a few macadamia nuts, the frozen banana, and some freshly ground vanilla bean powder. Ooh, was that delicious. But when you eat this way, your taste buds get stronger, and you didn't need the sugar and the stevia and the sweetening and the honey and the maple syrup. It would be too sweet for me. If I put cocoa powder in, it makes it more bitter. Then a little, maybe adding 1 date would make it better and more chocolatey, But when you use the vanilla, you don't even need the sweetener. The point is, we make incredibly delicious recipes. You're not going to be slaving in the kitchen. Whether you do that or not, that's up to you, how fancy recipes you want to make. But there's no reason why you can't do this. And then if you think it's going to cost you more time, more effort, or more money doing this way, which is not true, but think of the time, the effort, and the money that goes into being sick, going to doctors, taking drugs, being in hospitals, being in medical offices, running your whole life is running back and forth to doctors, getting pills and taking drugs and being sick all the time. What all the time you spend being sick? Don't forget, part of the mind is thinking of excuses and rationalizations why they shouldn't do this. They don't hold up. They're not good reasons. Pleasure talking to you guys today. We'll be hanging out at the booth right over here in that corner from the Health Oasis. You can always get more information on my book at my website, drfuhrman.com. And even though I've written 10 books, we explain on the website which is the right book for you. If you have diabetes, it's to get the End of Diabetes. If you have high blood pressure and high cholesterol, get the End of Heart Disease book. If you have a problem with a weight gain and dieting and emotional eating problems, then get the book called The End of Dieting. If you want to get the more recipes, get the Eat to Live cookbook. And if you want those quick and easy recipes, sign up for the Quick and Easy recipe. It's a Quick and Easy cookbook, going to come out shortly. Thank you guys for coming. Oh, and And don't forget, it's Dr. Fuhrman, it's healthoasis.com or dfhealthoasis.com. All right? For more information, so you let people know that this is available for your people in need, know that we have this available now.